All right, welcome back. It's late August, 1863. So here's how things look in Virginia. Sheridan's forces, actually, as you can see, unknown, but we can see that there's a good two corps there. So the power here is probably a little more than 4,000 and likely 5,000. So forces did move away from this area in the last turn, but I couldn't really tell if it's just forces that went here to DC. Um, and then into Maryland. As you get actually behind this, you can see the railroad has been destroyed. So we did get lucky with with that. Um, Otherwise, there's not too much happening. We do have almost three divisions here, but kind of like 2 3/4, as a couple of these divisions are missing some forces that we'll need to eventually fill in. Um, Oops, I just made a mistake. So this division here will target what's left of the Sabre Brigade and fix the railroad. Meanwhile, Early's force will head back and take up its defensive position in Suffolk again. Now, there was a big move last time here in Georgia, and that is, as far as I can tell, the majority of the force has sailed away from Fort Clinch here in Georgia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the army of Shenandoah. By the way, I haven't figured out how to rename the armies, so if you know how to rename them, do let me know. To Pensacola. The Union force that left was heading south. So their objectives could be, obviously Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, or Texas. Now, what I'm doing in Texas is I'm sending Ruggles force from Matagorda here to Hinman's division, and basically this isn't even a full division anymore, mainly because I took out some of the forces to defeat the Union, which is in Dallas. Where's Dallas? Okay, that's Fort Worth. Oh, here, yeah. And so they're currently besieged. We don't have a lot of other forces accessible in Texas, but I will definitely defend Texas. So if they land there, I'm going to get a couple more divisions over there, and we'll begin to contest it more. Otherwise, for the time being, all we really have is the one division down in Galveston, as you can see, and that's pretty much it. So let's go take a look at Kentucky. Actually, I don't want to do that. I realized I've forgotten to use my partisan union here. So in Kentucky, it's pretty interesting. The Unions come down, and Stoneman's division is here in Carthage. We have Morgan's cavalry brigades holding Nashville, and then, like I said last turn, we have basically 6 divisions here, 3 divisions here, and 3 divisions here. Unfortunately, Breckinridge's force did not repair the railroad last term, so hopefully they'll be able to do that this term. In addition, we have recruited a couple more very small brigades, as you can see, and we have Stephen Lee, who can eventually form a 4th division for this force. Now, if you're the Union, you have several options. One is to continue south, basically this way, and so if you see how long it takes, you can see that's Morgan can move there in 4 days, could cross in 9, and they could be there in 12. But Morgan, this is a purely cavalry force, so they would not be able to move actually that fast. And I think that this force here could hold it. It looks like there's just a militia unit here. So if you're the Union, you might go south here, like to Macon, and then basically try to attack Sumner, Tennessee. You can see it takes Breckinridge 17 days to get that. So I don't think the Union can get there in 1 day. Another possibility would be for the Union to go from Sumner to Macon, so that's 8 days, and then come into Bowling Green, and so they can get there in 12 days. So they can basically either attack Barron, Kentucky, or Bowling Green. Those are going to be the options. Of course, the cavalry unit can attack pretty much anywhere, including here, but I'm not going to chase after it at this time being. I've basically just chosen to defend on the rail line, and so we're defending on the eastern portion of the rail line, and Clarksville is pretty much open with just a cavalry regiment holding it. Now we do have a division back in Fort Donelson, but since we no longer have a division in Memphis and to protect against the Union boarding a fleet and attacking down, for this turn I'm going to move forward into the river, to the Mississippi River, on offensive posture, and so that way if the Union does comes down, we will engage them in a battle. Now out in Arkansas, like I said last time, the Union has a lot of forces here, and so they're actually rebuilding the depot that is here, and there's several divisions kind of roaming around up here as well. For this turn, Shelby, who I'm hoping is going to cause them a lot of trouble or continue to, will stay on defensive posture here in the Creek Agency and resupply. As you can see, there's actually a lot of supply here, both a small amount of ammo, but enough to resupply, and a normal general supply as well. Out west in Colorado, unfortunately Baylor had to turn back because of lack of supplies and mud. The weather's clear now, but it's actually too late, I think, to get there. So we'll come back to Fort Halleck and resupply. As far as decisions going, we are increasing the river pool, and we're going to print paper money, and that way we'll be able to use the rest of our conscripts and so forth. As far as recruitment, I did do a fair bit of recruitment. I've getting 4 10-pound batteries in Nashville, 4 12-pound batteries in Alabama here. In addition, we're going to get several cottonclads in Memphis, and a couple more, a new ironclad in Mobile, Alabama. Okay, let's run the turn and see what happens. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they attack in. It'll be interesting to see if they attack in Kentucky. Wow, so pretty interesting turn. We had a massive battle in Pensacola where the Union has taken some pretty large casualties. Looks like we gained a 4 national victory. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. As far as what's happened in Virginia, that doesn't really like too much has happened. There was a little bit of movement here, as you can tell, but as you can see right now, they're still basically forming the core of their force in Alexandria. I unfortunately was unable to bring the Sabre Brigades to battle, so we'll see if we're able to do that next turn. Early's force, of course, is back in its defensive position in Suffolk. Let's go ahead and go ahead down to Pensacola so we can see. As you can see, here's the Union force. It's 4 divisions. Oh, by the way, we had guessed this. Johnston, I had sent Johnston to Pensacola. Well, I didn't guess Pensacola, but just Pensacola was the closest strategic city I feared they would attack. So I sent it that way. And so Johnston's force is going to arrive in 6 days. So we're actually in a really, really good position to, I think, even counterattack here. So we'll have to see what they're able to do. And I'm just trying to see if they pick up some supply. They might even pick up a little bit of supply on the way. But anyways, here is the Pensacola force. So the division is in decent shape, not great shape by any stretch of the imagination, but in decent shape. And we also do have a division over here in Mobile, Alabama. I'll show you the battle screen in a few minutes. Now, this is getting really, really interesting. Grant has moved down one region, excuse me. The weather's still clear, by the way. Stoneman's division did not move, as you can see here. Um, so Grant has moved down one region. We can't see what's in Grant's. We can't really see what's in Grant's force exactly, um, but we can see that they have at least 2 full corps there. Um, Actually, more because Foster's unit has 5 corps. We can't actually see what is there. Um, so what that allows basically the Union to do is next turn they can actually attack Jackson straight on without crossing the Green River, which would be a definite advantage for them. Of course, they can also possibly now go to Macon and try to move on Sumner or come back in Bowling Green. So they do have a few basically other options. So depending on what I may have to consider is basically moving Jackson back to Bowling Green, and then Jackson be able to march to the sound of the gun to basically either region. That'd be one possibility. I'll have to play around with it and see what the estimated days are for that kind of movement there. The other thing that happened in Kentucky, which is pretty interesting, is it looked like Pope's corps has moved down, and the Mitchell's division, which I believe is probably a cavalry division, has moved to take possession of Graves, Kentucky here. So yeah, there's not enough supply. Well, we have enough supply. The supply wagon here is empty. Out in where's Arkansas? Here we go. Out in Arkansas, the Union is again spread out. We don't really have great intelligence on what's there, although we can see they released several divisions in Fayetteville, and really just all over. The Union is, man, they've poured some serious forces into some really serious forces, definitely into Missouri and Arkansas. Wow, that's interesting. So it's like they're garrisoning Lawrence with just a militia unit. So um, and we are now resupplied, and you can see Shelby's force almost at full strength is at power 764. So that's a very powerful force that can move very quickly. So we can get to Lawrence in 11 days. Another option that could be interesting is trying to move on Leavenworth. Well, that's not quite as interesting because it takes 15 days to get there. But yeah, we have some definite options or some possibilities with the force here. I didn't really see any other movement, and yeah, so we have, as you can see here, we have a few forces on the way that are going to arrive next turn. That will kind of reinforce Eastern Arizona. So at full strength, this current force only has a power of 531, which isn't great. So I'm going to see if I can work to increase that a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at probably the biggest action this term, which is the 4 divisions that were in Georgia, and I'm going to start off. We'll start off here in Fort Clinch. As you can see, there's a Fort Clinch garrison, which I believe would probably be the coastal batteries and then the fort batteries, and then there's also another garrison that's up here. It's kind of like a militia unit. So there are a few forces there, but we can tell it not a full division. What happened is those 4 divisions, I knew that some of them left. They boarded Farragut's fleet here, and they assaulted Pensacola. So let's take a look at the battle. And so it happened on day 11. we had just our one division here, and we lost a little more than a third of it, including two cannon. Now, as you can see here, the battle occurred with the attacker landing or fighting on a beach. So um, they basically assaulted and I contested the beachhead. So it's risky if you're doing that, if you don't really know basically what is there. So um, with and it looks like we didn't destroy any yeah, we didn't destroy any elements, but they took some pretty heavy casualties. They lost, um, that's not what is that? That's about 40% of their force, and even a higher percentage of infantry. So, and um, that was just on day 11. So there were several rounds. Um, as you can see here. You can go through and look at the different rounds. So anyway, so this kind of like shows them all. So that was a 4 national morale gain. We did lose 1 through an event, and then we lost another 3 to returning through neutral value. So I think we're going to be able to hold Pensacola. It is a strategic city, as you can see here. And fortunately, Johnston is on the way with Hoke's division, which is very, very good, and Stewart's division, which is a cover division, but which is very well led, of course, by Stewart. And of course, Joe Johnston is a very, very, very good general. Okay, so let's take a look at the messages. Wow, we have a whole bunch of units that have been trained. We were besieging Dallas, but didn't achieve much. Oh wow, more Unionists are being mustered here. Okay. Okay, so for some movements, we did destroy. I sent them. I sent our parsing unit through, so we destroyed most of the supplies here in Fort Gibson. Um, these are. I'm trying to see if they've built a. Yeah, there's a depot here, and there's also a depot here. So they're going to begin to resupply. Okay, a whole bunch more movements. Here we go. We were able to repair our rail lines. There was the battle in Pensacola. Okay, so they got a few units. So we have a couple of rams that are under construction, and they will be ready in 2 turns. So there we go. That's pretty cool. And we have food riots in Mobile, Alabama. Okay, let's see what the union's done. The union has issued war bonds, has raised taxes, railroads, so a whole bunch of things. General Pegram is awaiting command. And all right, that's pretty much it. So, all right, I think that's a pretty good turn for the Confederacy. And just the fact that they've landed at Pensacola, it's going to take them, even if they are able to retreat next turn, it's going to probably take them a few, like several, even if they get to Fort Pickens, it'll take them, several turns to recover. So we've pretty much been able to take these 4 divisions out of action, hopefully, probably at least until the early part of the winter. I'm probably going to go in and attack, basically leave the Pensacola division on defense, and then go in with offense with Johnston to see if we can, definitely, cause some more damage to the Union divisions. The other option would be also to bring Gardner's division over to Pensacola. That might actually be, be a decent idea as well. Let's take a look at the Union morale. it's actually not bad. Before that battle, I think it was at 91, so they lost 7 last term, probably basically through 4 through the battle, and then a few through their decisions. But we're at the point now where things can change very, very quickly, especially depending on what Grant is able to do in Kentucky. We're in a bit of a tricky situation because we really need about 2 more divisions to be able to defend this well, and we're not going to have those 2 divisions for several more turns at best. And I'm not willing to simply leave Fort Henry and Western Kentucky undefended. So right now, with 2 divisions here, we can pretty much be able to stop Key's force. Or yeah, I feel pretty confident um, about that. Okay, all right, pretty interesting term. So see you next time.